SMC, also known as smart money concepts. Anytime I actually mention, SMC traders or this kind of institutional trading in any of my videos, a lot of people like to comment on it. People ask me my thoughts on it. People like to defend their SMC strategies. And today I'm just going to go over my thoughts on SMC. Do I think it is a good way to actually learn your trading, to, trade consistently? And what I think of the whole forex industry and how it is actually becoming this sort of unrealistic industry where people are just saying that you can make 500% in one single trade. I even saw something on Instagram, which I'll go over, of someone making 600% in one single trade, which just isn't possible. Before we start the video, I just want to say these are just my own opinions. I'm not saying if you trade SMC you can't make profit or it's a bad strategy. I know people that trade it that make money. I'm just going to talk about the Instagram, the social media presence that these SMC institutional traders actually have, and how people have unrealistic expectations when actually going into learning SMC and pretty much learning any forex strategy. If you type in forex strategy, it probably just comes up with the SMC 1 to 100, 1 to 200 per trade. And if you can make 200% per trade, then fair play to you, but it's not really realistic in the long term. And pretty much any strategy does work if you put the hours in, you put the backtesting hours in to learn it consistently. And you could probably pick any indicator on TradingView, the Ichimoku cloud, you could probably do the MACD, EMAs, you could probably trade off any of these strategies, and with good risk to reward, you can make profit overall. So I'm going to start the video by going onto the compound interest calculator. And what I'm going to show you here is I'm going to be quite reasonable, because these people that claim they make 100 to 200 R per trade. So we're going to say, okay, you start with £10,000, you put in 20% profit per week. So that's averaging around 80% per month. And if each of their trades are 1 to 100, 1 to 600, this is being extremely reasonable on their actual trades, because 20% is a small trade for them. So if they're only making one small trade per month, then per week even, then this is what we're going off. And we'll do this for 1 year. So before we actually calculate it, you're probably thinking, okay, that £10,000 account in a year, what could they make? Maybe a good return on £10,000 in a year. If you put in the S&P 500, you might get, I don't know, £1,000 back, £2,000 maybe, based off last year's S&P results, and that's considered one of the best investments to actually put your money in. But no, these SMC traders, they're beating the markets, they're beating pretty much any institution out there, because their £10,000 in 1 year ends up as £17,897,000. 10,000 to 17 million in 1 year. Why are they promoting all their Instagram stuff? Why are they posting YouTube videos? If a small, £10,000 isn't a small amount of money, but in trading terms, it is a small account, and it can go into 18 million in a year from compounding, why are they still, wanting you to learn from them? If I was making 17 million a year, I wouldn't even be online. I wouldn't have a YouTube channel probably if I was making 17 million from one account. Let's say you have a £100,000 FTMO account, and you're making this 20% weekly. In 1 year, you will have made 178 million. So you kind of see, okay, anyone can get that FTMO. You can even get a 400k FTMO. So let's see what this goes to. 400,000, calculate this, the max FTMO, and you'd have 715 million in 1 year from making these 20% per weeks. And if you go on YouTube, you can kind of see here 1 to 100 in 1 day. So that guy, let's say he had a 400k FTMO. In 1 day, that account would be at 800k, and he'd get his 80% profit split from that, or 90%, whatever it is. That's a lot of money. And do you think if he's doing that in one single day, making 400k, 100% returns, why would he still be trading a retail account? Why would the banks not be like, or the institutions? If he knows the market so well and he can make this much money, why is he trading a retail? And this is another point I actually want to get onto. People saying they're trading with the banks and they're not retail traders. And if you go onto your MT4, you're a retail trader. These institutions, the banks, don't use MT4. So if you're trading on MT4, MT5, what's the other one, C Trader. You're not trading with the banks. You can think you're trading with the banks or trading like the banks, taking out retail traders. You literally are a retail trader. You can't buy a £200 course and then suddenly know where the banks are going to move price. Trading is literally just probabilities. You could have a 90% win rate and still lose money if your risk to reward, isn't great. You could have a 10% win rate and make money because of obviously risk to reward. If it's decent risk to reward, then you'll probably make money from it. But these people that are saying they trade like the banks, they trade institutionally, they've learned from a £200 course or free YouTube videos. If it was that easy to make those returns and trade like the banks from free YouTube content, the banks wouldn't make any money because everyone would have figured out, the holy grail of trading. And, I'm not saying it doesn't work. You can learn a lot from YouTube videos. You can learn a lot from Forex courses. That's probably the only way you can actually learn from trading, because blank charts, very, very hard to learn because you literally just have to go on patterns and what you actually see happening. And these courses can benefit you. But my issue is with the people that are saying they're trading like the banks. They're trading like the institutions. Because why would those people that trade at institutions go to university, get apprenticeships, get a degree? Why would they spend all that money on getting that student debt to trade for the institutions when you could buy some FX guy's course on YouTube just made 1 to 600 in one trade? Say they're institutional traders, they say they're trading with the banks, when in reality everyone that trades MT4 pretty much is a retail trader. Obviously you can have like professional accounts. The majority of the people that actually do it are retail traders. The majority of SMC traders, they make a 1 to 100 marked up on TradingView. They wouldn't take the trade, they would have got it marked up. A lot of these times you don't see any results long term from these people. I've showed my FTMO, I showed the challenge verification, I showed them my funny talent, challenge verification, payout, FTMO payout, showed all the stuff. I'm not just going to show TradingView charts and not the actual proof I'm making the money. Anyone can mark up TradingView. I could go on here now and say, okay, I bought down here because of the ZQY block. These people make up their own different blocks and stuff, their own different levels, and say the banks use them to take out retail traders. But you could say you bought at this level and say, oh, it stopped out the retail traders. They like to use 2 pip stops, and then I could be like, okay, I caught this up here. Then you see on their Instagram, oh, I caught a 1 to 37. Did you? Or did you mark up a 1 to 37? Anyone can mark up TradingView charts. Someone that's never traded before can mark up TradingView charts. But would you actually be able to hold for 1 to 37? Let alone the stuff I'm seeing on YouTube. Look at this. How to pick a 1 to 665 reward trade. 7-figure trader reveals all. And if he's making 1 to 665, then I'd expect him to be 8-figure trader, 9-figure trader, from the maths we've done. 665% on one trade, absolutely ridiculous. 100% in a year is probably, good results. 50% in a year is very, very good results. Let's say you have a 400k FTMO account. A lot of people actually do have that. You can scale it up to 1.6 million. But let's say you have this 400k account. If you're making 100% in a year, you're making 400,000 in 1 year. That's way above the 1% in most countries. If you're in Dubai, Monaco, it's a bit different. But if you're making 400k a year, you're well above. But this guy's making 600% in one trade. And then obviously, because he's so good, he can break it down in 30 minutes. And then you can pick your own 1 to 665 risk to reward trades. People like to promote this high risk to reward strategy. And I've been talking to a few SMC traders. I was trying to get one on for a podcast, but a lot of them don't show their faces. So, and you kind of wonder why. A lot of the traders that are actually making money in the markets, the actual traders, why would you hide your face? Why would you suddenly hide your identity? Why would you buy something of someone that whether you don't even know what they look like? It could literally be anyone. They could close that company, open a new company the next day. If their old company was exposed for a scam, open a new one. They could just rinse and repeat. But if you're doing it as like a personal brand, if I was exposed for scamming, stealing people's money or something like that, then if I opened a new company, well, my face would be there. So you kind of like putting your reputation on the line. But these SMC people, they're doing the old no face, no case sort of thing, where they're kind of like, okay, if this doesn't work out, I'll start a new one, sell another course, rebrand it a little bit, and then they kind of do that sort of thing. So now I did actually ask for, topics and questions about SMC over on my Instagram, and I'm just going to go through some of those topics and questions now. People actually want to know about SMC. What does it even stand for? Well, SMC is apparently smart money concepts, but I don't think there's anything smart about claiming 1 to 600. I don't know how people actually believe that. But when people get into the markets, they see, oh, he's making 1 to 600. That guy's only making 1 to 3. Why would I follow that guy? This guy's clearly, over 200 times better. But in reality, the person that's showing the 1 to 3, the person that's showing the 1 to 2s, or even the losses, overall are probably more profitable and are actually consistent in their trading. Next question. Do you think it's impossible to hit 30R in a day using SMC? And I'm not saying it's impossible to actually trade SMC. I'm not saying it's impossible to actually make money from SMC, because people can learn, people can actually look into it. There's certain people that actually do good content and you can actually learn from it. 30% in a day is quite unheard of. Not many traders even make that in a year, in a month. Anything is possible. You could get a tight stop. You could have something like we had that Ukraine war situation. Gold moved, a couple hundred pips. Even in one Friday to Sunday gap, we had like 450 pips. So, it definitely is possible with these big moves to actually catch higher risk to rewards. People say, oh, I made 500% on this trade. Well, you made 500R. You didn't make 500% because you took partials at a 1 to 3. You took 80% off the trade at a 1 to 3, which means that 497% extra which you claim to have caught was actually only 20% of your position. So people that say, oh, I caught 1 to 50, 1 to 100, but you didn't. Based on obviously your risk to reward, you took most of your profit at 1 to 3 or a 1 to 5. I'm not saying that's bad, because that's 1 to 5 is very, very good, but overall I'd say SMC from, I used to try and trade it like a couple of years ago when I was first getting into trading, because I got drawn into it too. And, the win rate was absolutely terrible. I'd obviously lose more than I'd win, because when you're using those tight stop losses, that is bound to happen. But they also teach you, okay, take profits, take partials, move it to break even. And I'd say a lot of the times, you would never actually hit that final target. And if it does, where you weren't in a trade anyway, you would have closed out due to psychology. You would have closed out due to taking partials at that certain level. And, it's not really something they talk about. They might teach it in their course, but then they post 1 to 500, 1 to 600, which you guys have seen. And, I'm not saying it's impossible to make 30% in a day, but, 30% in a month or 30% in a couple months is very, very good going. Especially with larger capital, 5% is good profit. So, yeah, it's not impossible. People probably do it, but not consistent every single day. Difference between SMC and institutional trading. Well, SMC claim they trade institutional, so people are probably gonna comment hate in the comments, obviously, because it's like a cult. SMC is literally a cult. If I say anything about SMC, people start hating because it's their strategy. They think that it's the only way to trade. And a lot of people in my comments and my DMs, they're like, well, why do you talk bad about SMC? You literally trade it. Or people say, why do you talk bad about SMC? I have the same entries as you. You must be using SMC. And it's kind of like, do these people actually have any logic? If I entered the exact same place as you, millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people probably entered at that exact price. Does it mean everyone that trades that exact pair at that exact time trades SMC? Nope. There's one here. You literally trade SMC, bro. You have the same entries as me very often. It's like, and people say, oh, if you don't trade SMC, then what do you trade? It's kind of like they think it's the only strategy out there. They think, oh, he trades something else. Well, he must not be profitable. And that's kind of why it is a cult, Once you're in there, you think everything else is terrible. You think no one else can be profitable if they're not using this. If they're not using 1 pip stops, how can they even make good percentage on their income or on their trading account? And that's why I think, the concepts probably work, but the communities behind the SMC is where, it's kind of changed trading for the worse. If banks trade SMC, how can we class ourselves as SMC traders? Well, if the banks traded SMC or these smart money concepts, entering off, some people here talking about inducement, breaker blocks and all this rubbish. You know, do you think the banks sit down at their desks? They go into the office and they're like, oh, I'm going to trade this breaker block. Like, what? If you think that the banks use TradingView, retail brokers, and they look at, okay, I think that the retail are going to buy here, so I'm going to enter on this order block after the breaker structure. It does not work like that. You might be learning from the wrong people if you think the banks trade this so-called SMC style. There are a lot more questions on my Instagram, but if you want to know more, leave it in the comments below and I will try to answer as many as possible. I just wanted to do a quick video on my thoughts on SMC. Now, I don't mean any hate towards SMC traders, but you guys will probably see it as hate anyway, because, you know, that's what it's all about, you know, hating on people that aren't trading your concepts. If you guys did agree with me in this video, be sure to like the video. If you didn't, then dislike the video and unsubscribe, which you're probably already doing right now. But yeah, just my thoughts on SMC and how it's kind of, you know, ruining the trading industry. And then you're seeing the proper traders, and then they're being shamed for making a small percentage of profits. And, you know, I have my trades and analysis group, or trade group on Telegram. You know, I'm consistently making, you know, 10 to 15% per month, every single month. And this is only with, you know, a few trades per month. And the issue is, people see these SMC traders, they're taking 5 trades a day, they're making 500% a year, 500% a month. And then they say, oh, well, why aren't you trading every day? Why aren't you making this profit? Why aren't you making this and this? It's like, not every single person trades the same. 10% a month is very, very good going. If you do that consistently, the account builds up. If you do that with a large account, the account builds up. You know, you can live off 5% per month. You could probably live off 1% per month if you go through the FTMO scaling plan. So before you comment down below about, you know, other people's trading, just think, I don't know how they trade. I don't know their account size. I don't know their risk appetite. I don't know their whole trading plan. So how can I comment on other people's trades? It just makes no sense to me. I would never send hate to another forex trader. They're doing what they want to do. If they make profit, good for them. If they don't make profit, that's fine. You know, there's no point hating on someone that's trying to make trading work for them, because, you know, we're all at that stage once in our trading career. So, you know, just be nice to people. There's no need to send hate to them, especially if they're an SMC trader. You know, you probably think they deserve hate, but, you know, everyone's just trying to make money at the end of the day. But if you guys did enjoy, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.